Thank you for coming. Good afternoon, everybody. So our core facility, as was already mentioned, is mainly focused on human medical imaging, mainly in the field of neuroscience. We are equipped with magnetic resonance imaging system. We have two 3 Tesla MR scanners and a lot of specific equipment for actual MRI studies. One of the specifics we are able to do hyperscaling with simultaneous use both scanners with 2 participants. And we are also equipped with various electrophysiological techniques. Some of them can be used directly in the MRI environment for simultaneous measurements. Some of them can be used in standalone electrophysiological labs. As already Milan mentioned, previous talk, we are part of Czech bioimaging and neuroimaging research infrastructures. You can see our website. There are many information. We are also trying to use Facebook for communication with users or with various public some important news and so on. So what services we are able to offer to our users? Definitely we start with the support in preparation of the studies. Then we are able to do structural imaging, perfusion imaging, diffusion imaging, to do morphometric studies, which means automatic segmentation of gray matter, white matter, and similar structures for the images. The major main important methods is functional magnetic resonance imaging, and we can use real-time fMRI neurofeedback, which means for real-time processing or real-time because it takes maybe 2 seconds, so it's like real, but with some delay. So we can provide feedback to the participants with visualization of the activity measured in specific part of the brain. I already mentioned hyperscaling with 2 participants and 2 scanners and simultaneous EEG MRI. We are also able to do MR spectroscopy and electrophysiological recordings in shielded labs or devices for some non-invasive brain stimulation. We can help with data processing for users, and we of course provide some trainings. It will be presented in the next slides. Our core facility is project oriented, so project is the most important unit for our operation. And here you can see the example of project lifetime. So it typically starts some basic talks, basic consultation if the project is feasible to do it in our laboratory. Then user should apply for Czech bioimaging or bioimaging infrastructure if they want to have discount, and then it's necessary to fulfill some formalities because we measure the humans, so each project needs to be approved by the ethics committee. We should know the details, how to handle this data, and so on. Technical preparation should be done, so to set up the specific instruments, to do some testing. As a result of this preparation, there is something like cookbook for each project. So it's exactly written what should be connected, how it should be measured. This is necessary for us because the projects it's from several months to several years. Many projects are running over a few years, and at the same time, during, for example, 1 week, we do measurements for 10 or 20 different projects in laboratory. So we exactly need to know how to set up the environment for each specific project and to change it after one measurement and prepare it for another. So after all formalities are prepared, then we can start and users can order participants for measurements. But there are some measured data, and we should do some data processing and provide the results to users, or we can provide the raw data to users. So now about news from this year. So there are ongoing activities in the field of fair data, open data. We are developing procedures and tools for data handling and so on. It's done in cooperation with ICS, MU, and Support Facility Biodata. We prepared fair data workshop for Mafil users in this February, and the next workshop planned at the beginning of next year, because this topic is important. And one new is we will start with the end of this year and beginning of 2024 with the annual renewal of registration for booking system. Till now, the users just registered once, and necessary to repeat it, but we want to have the better evidence and also to provide users some information which they need to agree, for example, and these conditions can change year to year, so it would be better for us to ask for some renewal of registration each year. And as Milan mentioned, the chip imaging user fee will increase from 20% to 25%. So I mentioned the project as a very important unit for our operation. So we implemented last year the Mafil project management system via booking, so it's part of the booking system. And here we can see the whole project. We can filter it according to users or responsible person for facility, the name, and other properties. And we can see if the project is in preparation phase, or measurement phase, or data processing phase. Here you can see the details information within the project, and we can move it to another phase, starting with some potential project preparation phase, measurement, data processing, finished project. Users can see the information in this form, and we can set up changes. Set a different view. So I mentioned courses. So there was a spring workshop on brain microstates, and we plan next advanced imaging workshop the next spring. There will be two education courses in November. Just next week, the course covering the principles of the methods and practical examples of measurement laboratories, and then the course focused on the data processing. We also do some internal courses. Internal means that they are not offered to general public, but to our users and of course to our staff. So it's focused on safety and MR laboratories, basic operation training course, first aid, and so on. Data policy is in the same way like it was introduced last year. So I will skip this slide. It's full wording is on website. Acknowledgement, each facility mentioned this topic, it's important. So we thank our users for acknowledging our work in the papers, and just notice that since 2023 the project code is different. Okay, here's just list of selected papers to see the various journals where our users published this year. So Parkinson disease in the Nature publishing family, neuroimage, International Journal Neurosystem, progress in neuropsychopharmacology, scientific reports on frontiers in neuroscience and so on. I present examples of few projects from last year. Typically projects which are not done for local users, but for the external users. So the first example is a project which is not neuroscience, Here we measured prostate, not the brain. So it was a project called Prostatilo, and it was done for the Masaryk Memorial Cancer Institute. And during the 1 year period, starting since May 22 to May this year, we measured more than 400 of subjects for this specific first screening projects. And there will be second round starting the next year. They expect about 300 of the subjects from this first cohort will be able to do repeated measurements. So it's example of the project which is not focused on the brain. Another project on the end of the page is the anthropological database of body proportions. So we did the whole body MRI measurement for the anthropologists, and they building the database of the proportions of the body data, also using other methods and other data, just MRI. Cooperation with people from Children's University Hospital focused on the autism. It was this project was funded from this Czech bioimaging grant scheme, as Milan mentioned, and after this pilot project, they submitted the research grant proposals to AZV and Gatcher. So we hope it will be successful to do the project in much more comprehensive way. We do this specific study focused on the e-sport for the people from the Faculty of Sport Studies, comparing playing computer games in professional and occasional players. This was done with EEG, not with MRI. One project is an example of the Eurobioimaging users this year as reading and speech processing in adults with developmental dyslexia. So this is done for people from the ABC Federal University of Brazil, but they have local collaborators at the UPOL almost because they fund on the local participants to be measured here. It's not possible to send the participants from Brazil here. And we have also collaboration with the University of Defense. The last project was focused on the military leadership. There was supervised project focused on the stress in soldiers, and we are preparing other projects. So these were some examples. Just to remember our users, practical advices, because we are working with the living people. They are coming for the measurements. They are typically ordered by the researchers, but then coming to a laboratory. So please inform properly the subject. They should know the name of the project and the researcher. Use the Mafil entrance. Also provide the phone to our operators if there are some problem to find us and so on. Because sometimes happens that we are waiting for participants and it's not here. Consider some time preparation before the measurement, and typical regular working hours are from 8 to 17, but it's possible to do reservation beyond this interval now, and use aliases for some requests. Yes, specific alias for data request or discussion with the technical issues related to MRI or other researchable techniques, and this alias is used for the project formalities for the preparation project. Okay, so another remark to users: make sure that all instruments are reserved together, which are used in the project. And for us, there is a huge problem of the late cancellations because we cannot use another sample because our sample are the people and they are not here, so we can do nothing, and it's a waste of time. So thank you for your attention.
Michal for finishing on time. That's really great. So we have 5 minutes to ask questions.
Yeah, I would like to ask you, I noticed that you had a project with Children's Hospital in Brno. And I know from experience that children are notoriously hard to make keep lying still for 20 minutes. Therefore, they are usually doing these measurements and MRI in full anesthesia. Do you have an anesthesiologist here on SETEC, or was it done in Children's Hospital?
It's not possible to do it. Our measurements are completely non-invasive, and there is there are no radiologists or such medical personnel. So we are not able to do measurement with contrast agents applied to blood. But it was possible because these children were in the age between 12 and 18.
Yeah.
So teenagers, not small children, so they were able to.
Because when we went to MRI with then my 8-year-old, it was like half 1 day and a half with the full anesthesia involved.
It can be problems, small children or with specific diseases where they are not able to.
You mentioned the hyperscanning with two subjects at a time. What is it good for? Is it some differential measurement or?
No, is it used by psychologists who are interested in the interaction between people, and there is better ecologic validity of the experiment if there are two.
So it's like a control experiment,
cooperating
right?
or competing. For example, they can play something like computer games to interact with each other. And then you are able to analyze the activity in one brain based on some conditions or some information obtained from the activity in the brain of another person. But these sophisticated methods are still under development. So users are trying what they are able to find from the data in the different way than just to do single analysis of one person and second person.
I would have one more question if I could. You mentioned volunteers, and I assume these are this like control group of people who don't have a condition when you are measuring people with a certain condition.
No, exactly. All people coming to us are volunteers because they are participating in some research project.
Yeah,
but they can healthy volunteers, or they can be with patient with specific diagnosis. So for medical research projects, there are, for example, Alzheimer's disease patients, Parkinson's disease patients, epilepsy, schizophrenia, and so on. But there are many projects which are working just with the healthy volunteers.
And who is then responsible for recruitment of the volunteers? This is the researcher who is doing the project, or?
In most cases, the researcher is responsible for this, but with the healthy volunteers, we can help also with some recruitment because we have a database of volunteers and we can send the email. But their response rate is not very high. For example, we send email to 100 volunteers and just 10 respond that they are able to attend measurements. So typically for external users, we are trying to help them find the proper participants, but in majority of the project is the responsibility of the researchers.
Thank you.